Welcome to the Traders Corner podcast. You can find all things Forex, whether that be platform or course reviews, general market education, or just current market events. You can find it all here at the Traders Corner podcast. Today, we have a bit of a special episode. We're doing more of an interview, and we're going to be interviewing the person who actually showed me about Forex, Delon Dixon. Delon he was a Howard student with us. You know, we all came in the same grade, all lived in the same dorm our freshman year and everything like that. So, you know, it's a little bit more special of an episode because it's, you know, all Howard students. Let's just get right into it. So, you know, just to give you a little bit of background, Delon has his own trading course. As I said, he's the man who showed me about Forex. So, Delon, you just want to give us a little bit of your background?
Yeah, absolutely. What's going on, guys? My name is Delon Dixon, residing currently in Maryland, from Iowa before I came out to Howard. Just really, in terms of my background, heavy emphasis on entrepreneurship. You know, when it comes to empowering the Black community and more importantly, just empowering yourself, it starts with having the freedom to be independent, you know what I mean? Or not necessarily dependent on somebody else taking care of you. And so when I came into Howard and everything, it was more so about just the Black excellence, you know, just being surrounded around the Black excellence and having it rub off on you. But I kind of came to the realization that college really wasn't that much different than high school, you know, in terms of the structure, in terms of the curriculum and how they're guiding you, and more importantly, where they're choosing to guide you. It was merely on the same path as the typical 9 to 5, you know, similar to how kids go to school at 8 in the morning and they come home around 3, 4 in the afternoon. Same thing with the job, right? It's instilled in our minds and we don't even really know it in full until it's too late. And then we're programmed and that's all we think about. And I just really got woken up a little bit, started to touch around other wealthy individuals, came across trading, I believe, Thanksgiving freshman year. Somebody just kind of put me on with Forex and they were just talking about you can make money with some clicks of a button. I jumped all on it, you know what I mean? But little to my knowledge, it was not that easy, you know, to say the least, you know. And so he added me to the group chats or whatever. You know, I threw him the 25.50 for the group chat at starting out, and he just told me to go to baby pips. And I was going, you know, did my thing, and that was really the basics, but I really wasn't seeing the results I wanted to off of that, you know. And so fast forward, you know, learning in Thanksgiving after winter break, that's when I decided I thought I knew something, right? I had to get humble. Throw in half my refund check, right? Lose it all. Lose it all probably in a week. And I think that week that I lost it was my birthday week. I'm an Aquarius. And so I'm like, I'm not sure if this is for me, man. But I'm like, nah, if I can lose money, I can make money, right?
Yeah, that's a different mindset.
You feel me? So, I stuck with it. And more importantly, I was like, okay, let me focus on learning the craft and actually thinking like the casino. You know, let's think like the casino. Let's think like the people who are in control of, you know, the markets, the big players in the market, not necessarily think of the average everyday Joe or retail trader or gambler. You know, this isn't Vegas. People lose money because they think it's Vegas, but I would rather be a person in a position where I'm in charge of the casino if I'm about to go to Vegas, you know. And with that, I kind of carried that mindset to trading and, you know, just really dealt with risk management a little bit more, you know, and being able to kind of decipher on not necessarily being right all the time, not necessarily being right most of the time, but having a risk to reward and risk management system where I could still always come out on top. And I feel like that's kind of, you know, where I came from, and it evolved, you know, trendsetters. This was born based off the premises of me helping somebody achieve what I was able to achieve. And that's, success in the foreign exchange market trading. But I'm still learning to this day. And you know what I mean? And so I don't necessarily call myself a quote unquote master, because if I did, I would probably be somewhere ducked off on an island right now. I'm not going to hold you. And so I still got some ways to go. You know what I mean? But I realized, I don't need to get to that point and wait 5-10 years down the road before I can start helping people. People started reaching out. They wanted to know what I knew. They wanted to kind of see how I saw things a little bit, because they saw my success. And summer of my freshman year, like 6 months after I blew that first account, that's when I started to become consistent with different teachings, and that's when TradeSetters was born. And Charles, you were one of the first students.
Yeah. So I was actually going to say that, how I remember going up to, because you were at the same time you were selling, I don't know if you remember that, the drinks you were selling out in Drew.
Oh yeah,
I came up to buy some, and he actually put me on with other stuff. Like you put me on the Rich Dad Poor Dad book and everything like that. And then from that, Delon was the one who showed me like Forex. And I'll say this, the fact of the matter that you told me, I think it was because you had already blown your account. So you told me like, there's more to learn, there's more than this than just clicking a button. You actually have to learn this. It's a craft. And I credit that for why I approached, learning Forex the way that I do. And especially the way that you talked about, like, think about it like the casino. Think about it like, not like the average retail trader, even though we are the average retail trader. But just to kind of go off of that, I remember one book that you actually told me about was Naked Forex. And that was kind of where I got started, and how I kind of got started with like learning price action. Is there anybody else that you like learned from? I know you maybe took a little bit from like Sean Lee over at Astro. I don't know if you ever used the course or anything like that. So
yeah, absolutely. When it comes to resources, I don't credit everything just to my knowledge. How you become a great, you study the greats, point blank period. You know what I mean? You got to give credit where it's due. And so I stumbled across the book after Baby Pips. I kind of want something different. So in those group chats that I just told you guys I was into, they started dropping a lot of books, and one main big one was Naked Forex, by Walter Peters. It's, damn near like the backbone, not necessarily the backbone, but it's a lot of supplementary information in that book that goes along with my course, right? So needless to say, I, heavily agree with the teachings that's in there, right? And that's from personal experience. And so with me, tapped into that book, Walter Peters, great trader, more so of the overall, not necessarily just the trading system. It's psychology, it's the risk, and then, you can be right 110% of the time, and you're too greedy on some psychological downfall, and you still lose. Personal example, I'm up 1100. It's not even 2 o'clock in the afternoon yet. Now, by like 8 at night, because I'm trying to trade when the markets is closed for no reason, I lose 500 of that. You know what I mean? Just trying to do too much, and trying to bite off more than I can chew. And so those lessons that I've learned, over the time, it's like, it's not just a trading system, right? And it's not just maybe, risk management, right? It's about the emotional aspect. It's going to show you some things about yourself that if you weren't already ready to deal with, you're going to have to come to conclusion to deal with it, or else you're going to, quit, because it's not easy. And you can't, and the thing is, with trading, you can't blame anybody but yourself.
Yeah, fact. Yeah.
Because nobody told you the place to trade.
Nobody put a gun to your head. Like, I'm coming to that realization right now, like, and it's kind of refreshing in my mind. Like, it's crazy how much you can recognize that and understand that, but still on your journey, you'll still fall into this idea that you have to know what's going to happen next. I have to be right every single time. And like, I honestly just think I went through one of those periods, and I'm coming to the realization, it's like, stop trying to work on the system right now. Work on like myself. Look at what I'm doing. Like, okay, I'm not being consistent right now just in my daily life. So obviously I'm not going to be consistent in my trading. It's pretty basic. And like, I'm reading this book now, guys, it's called Trading Beyond the Matrix. And the main thing that he talks about, by Van Tharp. Yes. The main thing that Tharp talks about in that is it's not about your system. It's about you. You got to figure out what's going on in yourself. Like in like the beginning of the book, he had somebody sit down and write like 5 things that they feel like will, you know, self-sabotage themselves like in their trading and how they can solve that. And they're like, once I did that, my trading became so much easier. It's about working on yourself.
Right.
But D-Hart or Zed, y'all got a question?
Yeah.
So wait, hold on. I got it, Zach. Hold on. Wait your turn. Shit. Anyway, so just going back a little bit, I had a question about like you said when you first started trading, you think you started like when you blew that first account, right? When you first started to trade that account, did you really have like a solid strategy or anything going into it, or you were just like, I know a little bit about the market, like I could just place trades and I'll make money? Like what was your mentality going into it?
That's a great question, bro. That's a great question. And so and so the first time that account specifically, it was like, yeah, I did some of my demo accounts, so I think I'm ready. You know what I mean? It was no like research, you know. It was like, oh, I know support and resistance, right? And so I should be able to be good. If it's at support, it should go to resistance, right? But no, it's not that easy. And so I got some, you can say, false luck. You know, when you place a demo account and then you're a little probably more over aggressive than you probably would be with a regular account. And then it wound up working out for me. So then I thought that I was ready on a false sense of confidence, you know, and then come to find out I blow $500-$600 in a week. And so then I had to kind of reevaluate. But that's the thing, being 100 with you guys, being transparent, that wasn't the only account I've blown. You know, because when it comes down to it, it's like you won't get all the demons and all the emotional things out of you that you need to in one account, because you probably blow an account very quickly because of one false decision, right? You can be winning 5-10 trades and then you try to over leverage, or over leverage means just risk more than you probably should, right? And you're wrong. So you were right 9 times. The one time you're wrong, you blow your account. Now it's like you're down psychologically. You knew what it was gonna do, but you don't have any more money now because it's all gone, because you just lost on the last mistake, and now you kind of have to get back up on your feet and figure out what you're gonna do next. And that's really is the test of character. You know, that's really is where the plan comes in. All right, that didn't feel good. Let me do something about it. You know what I mean? So that doesn't happen again. But the people who like trading as a thrill, they just deposit another 500, like nothing happened. You know what I mean? And that's the difference. It's like I slowly, when I created Trendsetters, that's when, you know, Naked Forks came to play. I got my personal trading strategy a little bit more developed, a little bit more structure to it, you know what I mean? But then it really wasn't all the way there. You know, I had to gradually critique it over time and kind of make it not only mine, but make it make sense and in a way that I can believe in it, to the point where I'm not attached to the trades that I place.
Exactly. I think you said an important part there. Like, you know, we kind of, I don't think me, Isaiah, or D-Hart has ever blown an account, but, you know, we pay for these courses. And I think you blowing those accounts was the same thing as you, like, you know, same thing as me, you know, paying for this course, right? Like, it's
right.
Right. Because even after I pay for the course, I still have to come out into the market and still lose. Like, I felt that with the last course that I took. I came out into the market and I still had to spend my time like losing in the market just to like tweak it a little bit, you know, form it.
Yeah, and that's a good point. You know, that's why Trendsetters is really built off of not just a textbook. It's my personal experience. You know what I mean? Because it's like pretty simple, but if I can save you guys, or if I can save my students from losing money potentially because I already did it, I feel like that's okay, because I can pay the price for, you know, other people given the chance to succeed in a better life than, you know, me personally. You know what I mean? And so if I can say, hey, don't do that, and this is why. You don't want $600 gone from your account in a week or less, right? Personal experience. So somebody can connect with me like Charles, somebody took my course on a personal level. It's not just some guru saying risk management. You know what I mean? It hits a little bit different. And so then you're not necessarily so quick to make that account only to blow it, because you're like, man, I might be able to slow down a little bit, recoup, because if I don't, then the same thing that happened to him might happen to me. And so knowledge comes, from information, from people's past experiences and your own. You just got to choose where you want it, how you want to get it.
Zach, I think you had a question, sorry.
Oh, yeah, I definitely do. So since you have a course and you're kind of like a mentor to these people, but, like, we're always like still learning. Like, like that's just how life is, Do you have anyone like currently who you consider like a mentor or anything like that, or anyone you're still learning from?
Yeah. I'll reach out to him, he replies. And people be like, oh, he's famous, yada yada. Like, I reached out to him initially, like when I first started trading. So it was before he was off.
Hold up. You kind of cut off there. Could you like?
Oh, hello. Can you hear me? My fault.
Yeah, no, you good.
Hold on. I'm about to put my AirPods in. Make that. All right, bet. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Make sure I can hear y'all. Bet. All right, bet. You guys can hear me?
Yeah.
All right, bet. Perfect. And so, question was about who I look up to, right?
Yeah.
Okay, bet. So when it comes to me, yeah, absolutely. Q Banks, he's somebody, you know what I mean? Jamaican cat. Respect him. I feel like my man Marley put me on game when I was a sophomore. And I feel like the first time I got hit to him, that was when he made like 70 racks in a week. And I just thought like, bro, what? Like, what? Like, what? This was way before the $100,000 day. This was like when I first like found out of it. I'm like, bro, 60, 70K in less than a week, and he's black. Oh man, he started how long ago? Oh man, let me lock in real quick, right? And so now, a couple weeks ago, he just made $500,000 in a day. So like now, it's levels. You feel me? That's why like I'm never the person to be envy or jealous of him. I'm just like, wow, that's success. I see it right in front of my eyes, so I know it's attainable. So it gives me hope. It gives me motivation and drive to get in the lab and do what he did, because he tells you explicitly over and over again, nobody was like this when it was 2014, 2013, when he was sleeping on the couch at 2, 3 in the morning just back testing.
Yep.
You got to go through that phase to get to that. You know what I mean? Not a lot of people know that, and not a lot of people, value that. And that's the part that I respect. That's why I'm an entrepreneur at heart, because I'm not really worried about getting it on the first try, getting it on the second try. I'm in this because it's a lifestyle type of thing. If I don't do this, then what else am I going to do? But getting back to the question at hand, Q, Sean Lee, of course. There's genuine people, you know what I mean? Some of them gave me signals, and I was more so like, I didn't really just want signals, because they always show signals or whatever on the IG or whatever. I was kind of more so like interested in how they was breaking it down a little bit, And so it was their group and Tory K. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but he's more so on the crypto side, right? And I followed their movement, but then once they broke off apart, I ain't had no beef towards Sean Lee, but Tory, he was just more active in the community, and he was trying to plug people in on both Forex and cryptocurrency. So I kind of credit, my transition. I don't just trade currency. I don't just trade Forex. I trade crypto. Why not? It's digital, everything else. We on a digital car right now. Money's being digital. So, crypto is the next best thing. So let me learn it. Learned it from him. He had a course, took his course, I think like one signal he gave me, I made like $500. His course is $500. So why wouldn't I buy it? You know what I mean? And then I grabbed it and started teaching me some different things, like things in plain sight that not a lot of people pick up on. And it's just about the fact of everybody, all the traders want a lot of stuff on their screen. You know, indicator this, indicator that, MAC level this, RSI that. Like, I'm not knocking none of those, right? Because everybody, it's a million one ways it's gonna catch. But I found the more stuff you have on your screen, the more confused you tend to be. So it's called learner's paralysis, or you learn so much, you know so much, and you try to fit it into one window. It's like you don't do anything because you have confirmations with it going up and you got confirmations with it going down. You don't know when it's going to go down. You don't know where it's going to go down to because there's so much stuff on your screen. Tori, he kind of put me on game. Keep a clean screen, you know, price action. The less, the better. We've heard that before, but when I'm hearing it from people who are professionals at this, I feel like it holds more weight than just the average everyday amateur trying to trade. You see what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely.
So yeah, Sean Lee, Tori, Q. That's pretty much it. I don't really like. I did look up to some of my, Charles, and my older brothers in GLD, you know what I mean? You know, remember back when I had that hosted that event, brought them in, the reality chasers, but it was like, they was on their lane, I was on mine. So initially I had a little inspiration, but that died down quick because I knew what they was doing wasn't like the setters, and I just respected them because they had their own entrepreneurship journey going on, but I knew I wasn't trying to trade like that. So, yeah.
And one thing I will say was with, everybody that DeLon just listed, you mentioned, things like $100,000 days, $500,000 days, stuff like that. And this, like he said, when he was talking about it, there's like levels to this. And one thing I'll always give Q Banks respect for, even though he shows you his $100,000 day, after he shows you that, like pretty much the next story is this didn't happen overnight. Like the next picture he's showing you is exactly like DeLon is talking about, like him falling asleep on the couch back testing and him talking about like that, like I'm doing $100,000 in a day because I have so much money in my account because I've been doing this for so long, and I have all these other streams of investments. So then I take it all and I put it in my account. Like, don't think that this just happens overnight, and because like that's one thing that we like to say, like on the Traders Corner, is like we don't want to focus on the money, but obviously if something like that happens, that would be great. But at the same time, we have to understand that when we see stuff like that, although we can use it as inspiration, we have to understand that, like they say, there's levels to it,
Yeah. And just to add one quick thing on that, like you can't forget at one point in time, he was down $17,000.
Yep. Yep.
You know, dang well you're not gonna feel okay.
It's gonna be real sick.
17 racks right now. I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to close out.
What I would do.
See, that's what he's saying is like there's a different level to it because that's when you're really just detached from the money. You know what I'm saying?
Emotionless.
Exactly, and he's detached from it. He's emotionless because he's been in the game for so long. And he's been doing it for so long.
Yeah, you got to get your head knocked in now.
Exactly. You got to burn your fingers a couple of times. But I would ask, because you mentioned, you had some other friends who kind of helped put you on a little bit. But, being in the Forex space, and I know we've discussed them a little bit, did you ever consider joining iMarkets Live? And if not, why not?
So it's an MLM, network marketing, right? And so for the longest, I just disassociated myself with the one I was a part of because I just feel like, I'm growing different ties, you feel me, different paces, you know what I mean? Just I started, Amway, great company, but that was my MLM. And Charles, that was a mentorship that I was bringing you in, right? Yeah. And so respected your wishes, you were just going to transfer to the side. Great. I stuck it out. 3-4 years, great mentorship, great personal development. But when it came to just the vehicle financially, I don't feel like that's the one for me. You know what I mean? And so part of ways, all respect to them, great company, great corporation. It's just I felt some way where if I can't really have it be my own, I'm just a part of something. It's just I'm a part of somebody else's legacy. I'm trying to leave my own. You know what I mean? I say that in the most respectful way possible. You know what I mean? And with IML, kind of got a bad rep from it at first. You know, Reality Chaser, they told me about it. The only reason why they knew Forex is because they originally got recruited, and then they was like, I don't want to do this no more. I just want to trade. So that's kind of how they started, right? And then they told me about that when I was a freshman. And it wasn't as big as it is now. Like this last year or two, everybody trying to do it, right? But nobody know how to trade. I just find that hilarious. But anyway, slight shade thrown. But anyway, I just always kind of found it weird how they were more so focused on recruiting somebody else besides the actual skill. And I said, you know, trendsetters, I never want that to be. You know what I mean? I want somebody to be able to dive fully in to the craft, fully into my course. They know exactly what I'm doing, but more importantly, why I'm doing it, right? And not necessarily sidetrack them on some MLM business model where you got to focus on getting people in so your membership can be free. It's like, then people focused on that. They're not necessarily focused on trading. So then what do people say? What do you hear people say? It's the copy and paste, right? They normalize that like that's okay. But when it comes down to supporting a family, if you copying and pasting and then God forbid your leader died, then what? You stuck. Then what can you say to the people that was following you at that point? Because now you probably got like 20, 50 people deep. Why did you write?
Yep.
You don't know how to trade. So where they gonna go? What they gonna copy and paste? You see what I mean? And then it's like the mentorship system is there by all means, and I ain't knocking them. It's just that I didn't really want to go down that route. It's like, man, think about it. If I'm really making money off the markets, why I need to make money off of you every month? I can, but I'm gonna teach you once, right? I'm gonna teach you, and I'm gonna be there with you. You're gonna pay me $300, $400, $500, whatever package you want, right? You want it all? Throw me the 500. Boom. Gear, course, everything. Chat, everything, right? My support for life, right? At that point, it's just you a trendsetter. I don't really feel the need to leech off of you or eat off of you every single month if every single month I have the same opportunity to make money before I even met you. Before you was even a trendsetter, I was making money off the foreign exchange market. So why in the world do I have to be dependent on you now to make my money when I was making my money before I even thought about teaching you? And it could just be a win-win. You're not really pressed about individuals doing this or doing that. If I give you my all for the 2-week course and you just say, thank you so much, Aman, but you don't do nothing the next day after that, I'm okay with that. Because I don't get paid based off of how much you can produce. It has nothing to do with that, right? I have the luxury to teach somebody in full with my passion because that's something that I love to do, right? And I know I can be sane when I do it. Why? Because my financial security or my standard of living isn't going to be dependent on whether or not that person wants to apply themselves. You see what I mean? I love them, but I'll be damned if somebody else control my destiny. That's how I feel.